Hello, parents. Welcome to the Masterful Parenting Podcast. I'm Anne Alvares, parent coach, school counselor, and mother of two. Do you sometimes struggle with your parenting role? Do you notice that sometimes you're repeating patterns that you learned in your own childhood? Maybe you are carrying childhood pain that has not been healed, and you notice that it is showing up in your parenting with your own children. Perhaps you yell or get frustrated easily. Maybe you are directing them or telling them what to do all the time, and you notice that your actions are affecting your relationship with your children. Well, parents, I totally understand this. I came from childhood pain and I learned how to be a relational parent with my children. And I can teach this to you as well. This podcast is all about learning how to heal the childhood pain that we are carrying so that we can foster healthy relationships with our kids. Join us every week for a new show, and we will dive into the healing and the fostering of healthy relationships with our children. Hello, parents. Welcome to the Masterful Parenting Podcast and YouTube channel. I'm super excited. I have a special guest. Her name is Dagmara Sitek. She is a Montreal-based mother of two who is committed to children's education and emotional well-being. She was born in Poland, lives in Canada, and she wears many hats: mother, wife, digital marketer, in her 9 to 5 world. And she's also an author. When she was a kid, she loved drawing and writing. And Dagmara never thought about writing a real book until now. She jumped into writing children's books because she realized something important. Not all kids get a fair shot at life. Her debut as an author merges childhood passions with a new mission to bring hope and awareness to children's struggles. Welcome, Dagmara. So great to have you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and thank you for this wonderful introduction.
Oh, I'm so excited because we're going to talk about, I'm a relational parent, so this is a big topic for me. We're going to talk about empathy, right?
Yes.
We're going to get into a deep dive, parents, about empathy, why it's important to uh, to understand empathy. But my first question is, maybe just tell us a little bit about your book, how you came to writing this important book.
Yes,
And what
that's
your
the
book's title is. I didn't mention
first.
that.
Sure. The title of the book is Loris Opens Up His Heart, and it was the first book in my series of courage tales. And it was the book that was actually born from empathy, because I wrote it after learning about a very sad, tragic, short life of Kamilek, an 8-year-old boy from Częstochowa, Poland, who tragically died due to severe abuse by his stepfather. And this story just shook me deeply. I know we hear many of the stories in the news, but this one was the one that I just decided that there was too much silence around this boy, whom never no one helped him, and that was just very saddening that children really sometimes don't have their voice and they don't have right adult around them. So I just decided that as a mother and as someone who cares about children emotional well-being, and I felt that I just have a lot of empathy towards just vulnerable children. I just cannot ignore it, and I wanted to have a bigger reach with how I want to help apart from just joining organization helping children. I just wanted to write a book, create something that would teach children empathy, but also teach adults how to see children more clearly, how to see their problems, their needs, because so many kids carry invisible pain, and Loris opens up his heart. It was my way of helping families talk about emotions.
I love that. I love that. I always say there's purpose to pain, right? And if we can take our pain and turn it into purpose, like you have, this understanding this tragedy and it affecting your heart, and you're like, you want to do something about it. I think that is so, so good. I'm so excited about that. Why is it important to teach kids empathy?
Yeah. Because then become adults, and sometimes it's too late to work on your emotional intelligence. And empathy is the cornerstone of emotional intelligence. And this is one of the strongest also predictor of your lifetime success. And I, as a mom, I'm guilty of always, right, checking and helping them to um, I'm saying guilty because I don't want to put too much pressure, but at least I want to put pressure on their mental well-being. So I think apart from investing in, robotic classes or karate or chess championship classes, I think, that we should focus more on how your mental health, the mental health of your children really is. And I think that we can do so much as parents if we just put it as our priority, because empathy, make children more socially competent. They are better in resolving conflict and building relationship, and they're just more successful in school. I was very surprised, but I found this very interesting research. I believe it was done by University of Cambridge, when they found out that emotional learning, social emotional learning, so-called programs that are include in different middle grade schools, and they include learning about empathy. They noticed that it actually improved children's academic performance by 11% on average. So there is so much to it. And I think it's time to just uh, create even more content, even more books, and even more application that I'm also working on right now, that are supporting emotional intelligence.
I love that so much. I'm a firm believer that emotional intelligence is a life skill because everybody needs it. It affects our lives so much when we have a broken relationship with people, when we don't know how to solve conflict, or if we're creating conflict, you know, that that causes unrest in your life. And so if our kids learn it, maybe we didn't learn it, right? But if we learn it and then our kids learn it, then we're creating a healthier world, healthier society, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So tell me about how do we teach children?
Yeah,
Maybe explain how you do it with your kids, and I'll tell you how I do it with my kids.
that's
But
awesome.
how
Let's
do
change.
we teach, yeah, empathy
Yeah,
to
so
our children?
great. Another great question. Very personal. I love it.
Mhm.
So I think that what I realized was that I need to model empathy myself. I improved myself so much when I started to trying to improve my own children's behavior. And I realized the more I change, the more they change positively as well. So the change really came from within, from me, and then impacted them. And yeah, I model empathy. I was also naming my emotions. I was trying not to shout at them when they made me mad, right? Before I was maybe not managing my emotion properly. But the moment I became more calm, more patient, they just learn from me. So that's the one main thing that I changed. I started reading more books on emotional intelligence, on my brain psychology. And then I inspired my kids to learn about brain. We did some cool art activities. I bought some stickers with brain. We had so much fun. And sometimes now when I get angry, or maybe, I'm not happy about something, they can remind me, Mommy, your amygdala is taking over. You need to chill. You need to chill, because you're gonna get angry and then you're gonna regret it and you don't feel well about yourself. So that's amazing. And that was the first thing. But I think what we try to do is, when you take this negative situation or this bad difficult emotion that you have as a family, and you turn them in everyday moments of teachable lessons. Like you look at them, you accept it happened. Don't feel guilty. Just see what you can learn from this little mistake or this little argument that you had today. Uh, uh, and sit at the end of the day, apologize and talk about your feelings a little bit more than you usually do. Um, Another thing wonderful is reading empathy building books. That's always great because the stories are something that is moving us, right? How many times we had this story in the news that touched your heart, like the story of Camille that made me actually write these books. But imagine kids feel the same when we give them this powerful, difficult stories. And when we read together and ask questions, we have these conversations about empathy, kindness, and how we could help people. For example, we can take like a person from a book and say, how would you behave if you were in shoes of this boy or this girl from the book? And this is opening up a whole conversation about others people's perspective and empathy. So model empathy, turn this everyday moment into teachable little classes, read empathy-based books, and teach kids to just like taking perspective or understand perspective of other people in their lives.
I love that. I love that so much. Um, I was just going to share this is I believe the same as you do that we are the first role models.
Yeah.
So we have to be empathetic, and that means we're empathetic with them. So if they're having a rough time, tantruming or angry or whatever, then we have to model empathy, understanding, like trying to understand them. And I also agree with you about we have to be regulated. We have to be like, okay, why am I getting triggered? Why does this upset me? Right? And how do I calm myself down? So we as parents have to regulate our emotions so that we're not flipping out uh, and getting mad at them, right? And making them feel bad. And I also like that you talk about feelings because I'm very, very passionate about this being the mother of two boys. Because I feel like in society, traditionally, men have not been encouraged to talk about their feelings. And it has damaged our world.
I agree.
Because if you do not express your feelings, if you don't feel safe to express your feelings, it ends up being down the road as an adult. It turns into depression, anger, aggression.
Yeah.
And then we have men who are unhealthy because they never processed their feelings as children. And not just men, women too. But generally speaking, I feel men have had the conditioning that they're not allowed to express how they truly feel. They're not allowed to cry, man up, keep it inside. Like, why are you a baby? Those kinds of things, right?
Yes,
And
that's
and we have
great.
to change that. We
We
have
have
to change that because it's not healthy, right? If
men.
we want to
Yes,
raise healthy men,
yes,
then our boys need to be allowed to cry and not feel bad about it. Yeah, go ahead and cry. Or get angry,
yeah,
or feel sad. It's all good. All emotions are good. So I like that you encourage talking about their feelings because I do that with my boys. How do you feel about that? What do
yeah.
you think of that? Right?
And I would say that very, so 100% agree with you, especially when you have boys. I have a boy and a girl, so I see big differences here. But I think that what's really was surprised me and was a big improvement is when I explain the emotions through biology, through how the brain is processing these emotions. Because when I explain that through amygdala, like we then have prefrontal cortex that's more responsible for reasoning, thinking, and decision making, and amygdala, that is taking over when you feel these big emotions. When they heard me saying that, they accepted all kind of
Yes.
emotions. They acknowledge that whether they're angry or frustrated or even sad or even depressed, they acknowledge that this is telling them something, and it's
Yes.
coming from their brain. So all of this is good. It's just then we need to work out how to make you feel better and what
Yes.
is the reason behind that. But they are more accepting of being that. They don't feel that they are weird, they don't feel that they are guilty, that they are bad people or bad kids. They are fully human. So that was
Exactly.
really, really helpful.
Exactly. I love that. The other thing too is when kids have conflict. Okay, let's just take bullying as an example, all right? Because I deal with a lot of bullying. My youngest was bullied. I was bullied as a kid. And I deal with teenagers who experience bullying. And my messaging, because I want them to learn empathy, I try to get them to see that a hurt kid needs to hurt or chooses to hurt because they're hurting. And it's really not about you. Okay. So let's think about it. Not that it's right. It's not right. It's not right to bully or to hurt somebody. But if we can look at that person as someone who's in pain
Yeah.
and needs help, then we can depersonalize and not think that something's wrong with us because nothing's wrong with us. Somebody is in pain and needs support,
I
right?
love I love that.
Yeah,
It's so powerful what you said. This is so true.
we need to look at people like all people
Yeah.
that that are angry as people that are hurting or have been hurt. And then maybe we can understand, right? Like I believe like the greatest healer is love.
Yes.
If we can love more, like our kids when they're struggling, when they're angry, and people when they're struggling, when they're angry, and model that to them, it can transform them,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. This is exactly in this like when they show this anger and they cannot control it, I find it very vulnerable. They just don't want to show it that way. But I know that that's the moment when you, like you said, you need to show the most love, right?
Yes,
Not when everything is easy, everyone is happy. This is so easy to show love when everything going smoothly. But the moment when they need you the most is when they suffer the most, when they're in pain. So
exactly.
that's very
E-
true.
Exactly. And it starts with us feeling good.
Yeah.
Because when we feel good about ourselves, then we can handle other people's strong emotions, right?
Yes,
We're not going to personalize it. The
that's right.
kids that get bullied are the kids that don't feel good about themselves. They seem to be the ones that are targeted, right? So
Mm.
that's the other thing that I tell kids is that we have to work on your inside so you feel good, right? About you.
I'm
Yeah.
so happy you mentioned about bullying because I actually, my third book that I wrote was Beefy goes from bully to buddy. This was actually the point, that you put it, the beautiful point that you put about the pain inside the bully. And this boy that is a very bad bully, it's actually becoming the best friend of our characters at the end of the book because they discover that why he was a bully, because he had emotionally unavailable parents. He had a parents who were very rich, very successful, but never had time for him. So he was this crazy little uh, inventor who was also a bully because he was never really appreciated by parents, never seen and heard by them. So the only way he could do that was to just beat up uh, uh, weaker kids at school to get their attention and attention of his parents. But this is so true that these characters from my book, they're foster children, so they've been through a lot, and they've seen right away that this boy has some pain. There is something. It's not about them. It's about his own pain that he cannot process. So,
Yes.
and they were strong enough, resilient enough to don't take it personally, and they actually help him become their friends, his friends, and in the end they all become friends, and kind of he also changed his behavior. He became a buddy from the worst school bully. So this 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 is exactly what you're talking about, and it's also resonated with me that I wanted to show this duality of human nature. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Wow, that's a powerful example of how love can transform, people's lives. Okay, let's get into how parents can get in touch with you and get your books. You have more than one, right?
Yes, I have three books in my series, Courage Tales, so they can visit my website at couragetales.com, where they can learn more about books and my project. So they can order. It's available on Amazon, everywhere really online. My first book, Loris Opens Up His Heart. The second one is Cam Creates a Hero. And the third one, Biffy Goes from a Bully to Buddy. Everything is on my website. They can also send me a message. And I'm also, that was a secret, but now I can say that I'm also working on an augmented reality version of my book. Loris Opens Up His Heart. So I'm creating an app that will trigger like augmented reality experience, which is a music and a beautiful animation. When you scan the book with your app on your phone, you will be able to interact with my book. So that's also a very exciting project that I'm working on. Since I have my previous experience in computer gaming, I thought, I will try to combine my books with more interactive experience to teach kids empathy.
Oh, that is so excellent. Okay, well, parents, I am going to provide the link um, for you to purchase Dagmara's books, and you will also get her information, all her links, so that you can check it out and contact her. So thank you so much, Dagmara. So important, this conversation we had today. So I want to thank you so much for sharing your work. It resonates with me and my mission. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure talking to you.
All right, and thank you, parents. I hope that you got a lot of value from the show today, and we will see you next time. Take care, everybody. Thank you, parents, for joining the show today. I hope it was valuable and that you have some useful tools to use with your children. If this show blessed you or changed you in any way, I would appreciate a review on my podcast, or subscribe to my YouTube channel, or perhaps you could even recommend our masterful parenting to your family and friends. Thank you so much, parents.